Android fans are calling Google's new video chat app an iPhone killer, but they're clearly not the most objective on the subject.
Yeah, but we've asked our objective colleague, John Fortt, to come up in and size up Google's new app Duo and how it could alter the mobile phone battle right now. John, what do you find?
Well, Bill, I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's probably not an iPhone killer. The idea here is for Duo to be available on both iOS and Android, so there's no need to switch in order just to use it. The question, though, at this point is, how do you measure Duo's success? Duo stands a really good chance of doing okay just because of how many ways Google has to promote it. Through the Google app on iOS, through Android, through Gmail. It can present lots of different opportunities and incentives for people to at least install it. But installs and usage are two totally different things. For example, every smartphone has the ability to do SMS text messaging, right? But last year, people sent nearly 3 times as many messages by Facebook Messenger or WhatsApp as by SMS. So here's the hill Google's Duo has to climb. There are more than 1 billion Apple devices in use around the world, and most of them have the ability to do a FaceTime video call. Snapchat is popular with the kids, and it has video chat. Facebook Messenger has 1 billion users, so it's probably the most obvious way to do casual chat across platforms. And then, of course, there's Skype, which is still a pretty popular video chat platform in its own right. And Google's gamble here is that by making an app that's video only, no text, no voice only in Duo, it's going to be able to do better at video than rivals. But we'll see, Kelly.
Yeah, stay right there, John. We're bringing in Max Wolff here as well from Manhattan Venture Partners. Max, I just don't want to download another app.
Yeah, I mean, almost no one does, which is part of the reason that we see this, actually. So Google's releasing Duo and Allo, the Messenger, at the same time. And we kind of think that the video and the text messaging apps are the operating systems of the future, and that we're going to be downloading fewer apps. There's app fatigue. It's hard to discover and find apps with 1.5 million already out there. And so Google's making sure they don't get left behind in a world dominated by the WhatsApp and the Snapchat and the FaceTimes and the Apples, who are basically their major competitors.
Well, John, who does Google think would want to download Duo?
Well, I think they're die-hard Google users who will download this. The question is, what's that conversation going to go like back and forth between, somebody who's got an Android phone trying to contact somebody on an iPhone trying to get them to do this? I don't want to. I already downloaded Facebook Messenger, which a lot of people didn't want to download, by the way. Why don't we just chat on Facebook Messenger? Or we used to do this over Skype. Let's just do it over Skype. There's going to be that hill to climb where people don't want to download something else if they don't have to, because they don't have space on their home screen, because they don't want to learn to use a different app. All kinds of reasons. Google's going to have to do really well execution-wise, adding the right kinds of features, but maintaining simplicity in order for this Duo to have real legs.
Yeah, Max, we've mentioned impact here for the iPhone, but maybe the story is more about just messaging in general. So John brought up Facebook, for example. How many people do you think are using video features in Facebook Messenger to communicate? Or if Duo is successful, who is it most likely to cannibalize?
Yeah, so we actually think it's always a little bit dangerous to count out Google. Even in iOS, where you get the free version and the Apple version, people love Google apps, and they're among the most used in every geography every year, despite the fact that Apple gives them no love and certainly doesn't promote them too often in the Apple Store. So, I mean, I think that there is some real value to having something that does better in a low bandwidth environment. I think what they're trying to do is make life more difficult for Skype, make people less interested in WhatsApp, and make people never leave the Google ecosystem, because that makes sense. And remember, too, with 75+% market share and 85+% market share in the developing market where new users are coming on, they have a pretty good chance of being the first app you use for a couple of tens of millions of people in the next 6 months. And that will be the real test if they could have legs and run with this.
Yeah, I mean, my first question was, and I realize that there's more than one competitor, but it doesn't have to be a zero-sum game, Max. I mean, if Google comes in, it doesn't mean it has to cannibalize. You could add new users, couldn't you?
Absolutely. And it's going to be super easy with one master login. It's going to fit perfectly with Gmail, which pretty much everyone uses. You already have Google on your system because you're using it for a calendar, you're using it for search, you're probably using it for email. and they have one master sign-in. So I think, look, between the 75% market share for Android and the fact that everybody already has a relationship with Google with one master login, I don't think it's such a leap to either add them to or knock someone else out of the box.
Yeah,
I think that this has legs.
But those are the reasons why Google Hangout should have done a lot better than it did because of that master login. Granted, Duo has an added feature in that you can sign up just with your phone number. You don't have to sign up for a Google account,
right.
But that just goes to show how tough this can be.